Hey guys, what's up? Jeff with Half-Assed Gaming, doing a little setup video. A couple of the old timers have come to me and asked me for a little setup video. What do I need to get started using Blendertools so I can do some modding for myself? You know, not necessarily releasing stuff, but just playing around with the models and editing them and doing that sort of thing. So that's what this is about today. You're looking at the SCS Soft modding page. So you can see that up here in the top. This is where you're going to get most of the tools. So tools, Extractor. If you don't have this already, this is what, when you go into your games folder from Steam, you pull those SCS files out and run them through the Extractor, and that is how you essentially edit models, or did with Zmod and Blender to SCS. However, with Blendertools is an additional step to create that middle file format, so we'll go over that in a little bit. Blendertools, right here, in the latest version. Conversion tools. So these three things you're 100% going to need. Okay, all the download links are right here. It'll tell you what to do with them, how to extract them, where to put them, etc. I'll go over that quickly here. So the other thing we need is converter picks. So I just type in converter picks and let Google help me. That brings you to GitHub. You can also go to the forum post, but everything is here at GitHub. It looks a little confusing initially. You're going to go to clone or download. You're going to download the zip right here, and you're going to find converter picks inside. It is an executable file. So that is that. Pretty straightforward there. So let's open this. Bring this over here for you. So basically this is how you're going to have it set up. Well, you don't have to do it exactly like this, but this is what I've done. SCS modding tools, create its own folder. Basically Blendertools versions here, when I download them, they don't stay here because they go into your Blender add-ons folder, like so here. And I'll show you that in a second. Here's your conversion tools. This is very important. This is what converts from the middle format, which is PITPIM, PIT, PIM instead of PMD, PMG. And then your converter picks here. So essentially, in order to use, well, I actually have converter picks in a different place, which is right here, but either way, doesn't matter. This is an executable file. Basically, you take any opened, extracted SCS file. So it would be PMD, PMG. And you basically take that folder and then you drop it onto this and it converts it. Which you'll see here. I do this with the ATS files because you need those for any number of reasons, but you want to also convert those things to PITPIM. So in here, this is the original. As you can see, I have the extractor here on the bottom. And if you haven't done this before, I'll show you what it does. Basically go like this, drop it on top. This extracts your SCS files into SII files and the directory structure. Alright, so if you go into vehicle, truck, we'll say 389, you can see PMD, PMG, PMC for the collisions, etc. Alright, so I do that, no big deal. But if I take this and I drop it on top of converter picks, I get this, which is _exp. Excuse me. That is automatically created by converter picks, the _exp, just so you know the difference. You can see there's much fewer folders because it's only interested in PIM. It has nothing to do with, all it does is PIM, TOBJs, and DDS files. So you're not going to find any defs, you're not going to find anything like that, any text files in here. This is just for middle formats for modeling and stuff like that. So if we go into the same folder, you're going to see the DDS and the TOBJs, but you're also going to see PIC, which is collision, PIM, and PIT. And that's what you're going to use in Blender to edit those things. Okay, so now the other thing that you're going to need to edit models, okay, is kind of like you notice in here, I'll show you, if we go to the 1.28, so you see vehicle share here like this, and you see trailer share here, and so on. The truck also has it, so share. So these are your glass files, your exterior glass, your interior glass, your metal, your shadowing. Those things are all in these share folders. So what you need to do is you need to create a couple of things to make your life easier. So I've called these Blendertools, or B tools in this case. Basically, pre is before you convert the truck to PIM. So we're talking about PMD, PMG, so you've just extracted the SCS into a folder. You're going to need these, all of these files here. So this is all generic reflection, vehicle reflection, all these things. So you need that. You need unit hookups because you need to have the lights available to you to put in your model. Otherwise it will break the flares. And you're going to need the shared stuff. So share textures, and then the trailer share, and then the truck share, and then the upgrade share. So these are all things that you need in your little toolkit. Okay, so basically you're going to take all this stuff, because this is not going to be in a truck that you extract, because you don't need these things. These things overwrite the stock materials, which you don't want to do, because invariably SCS will change these files and then it will break your mod. So if you just leave it so that the mod requests those files inside of Blender, but then when you convert it back to PMD, PMG, it does not, you do not retain these files, because it's essentially going to break the mod potentially in an update, or it's going to change other mods that have an adjusted reflection or something of that nature. Okay, so once you do that, what's going to happen is you load all that stuff into the truck that you just extracted. Once you do that, when you use converter picks and you drop your truck onto converter picks and it converts it to, you know, whatever, 389_exp, it's going to delete the unit and break some of the other files for whatever reason. I think it might be fixed in the most recent update that ConverterPix did, but I still do it anyway. So post, so this is after you've converted using ConverterPix. I've just re-included the hookup and all of these files, but changed to be accepted by PitPim instead. If you'll notice, if I open this TOBJ, it is a PitPim style. It shows this instead of that hex code with all kinds of stuff, okay? Because this is what the PitPim reads before it turns it into a automat. All right. I know this is a lot to take in. You probably have to re-watch this about 1 billion times, but this is everything right here. This is it all explained. All right, so I'm going to show you where Blendertools goes now. So io_scs_tools. So we're going to find our Blender folder, which I believe in my case is here. So Blender Foundation. So I'm on Windows 10. It's C program files, Blender Foundation, Blender 278, data files. Oh, that's not right. Sorry. Scripts. There we go. So scripts, add-ons. You can see here I've got IOScene SCS, I've got IO_SCS tools. So everything is in there. I'm ready to go. Alright, so once you copy that information in here, you're going to open Blender. And you're going to go to User Preferences. And then you're going to type in the search. Well, it's going to end up here, but you go to the add-ons section, type SCS. So this is what we want right here. Import, export, SCS tools. So this is the official tool. You can tell because these two guys have made it. Simon Lusenk, 50Kata, also known as, and Milos, who is for Museman. They're the supporters of it. So make sure that's checked. Don't worry about this one. This is an experimental one that 50K is working on. Alright, so save user settings when you're done. Close. Now, so that's what to do with the add-on Blendertools. Now, the other thing is conversion tools. So when you download conversion tools, which are here, right? So download this. It's just a zip. You unpack it into its own folder, which turns into this. So this program is what takes the PitPim or the middle format and turns it back into a PMD, PMG, PMC. Very important. You need this to do anything. It won't even allow you to export it back to PIM unless you have this loaded into Blender. So it's very, very important to have these loaded. You always want to make sure that you have the latest one, which I believe is 2.3 right now. Definitely take care of that. Okay, so definitely need conversion tools, you need Blender tools, you need converter picks. All right, so get all those things. The easiest way to go about the pre and post is literally copy the entire base folder and then just delete out everything that you don't need that doesn't have a share folder. So you don't want any trucks in here, you don't want anything like that, you just want the shared folders, and you want the environment folder under material, and you want the hookup, and the same for post after you convert those. All right, and I'll just show you what that looks like actually now that it's probably a good idea to do that. So this is the pre folder, right? So these things we want to convert to middle format so that we can use them inside a PIM folder. So we take this, drag it, boom. All right, so now you're going to see it's created pre-exp. So all I did was rename that post and then added the hookup file, the unit, back in here, and then everything's there like it should be. So that's all you need to do. That's the gist of that. Pretty simple. So here's what we're going to do. This is how I like my Blender setup. I mean, there are a billion different ways you can set it up. That's the beauty of it. You can, this is the user perspective window. You can put the user perspective window down here if you want. So I can do .3D view like that, and then up here I could do UV up here instead. Or I can go back and do that, and then, you know what, I'd rather have the properties down here. So that's this area over here. This is all down here now. You know, so you can put these over here if you want. And I'll show you how to rearrange that too. So, you know, I don't want that. I'm going to do UV editor again. I'm going to drag this down. Nope, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. All right, so if I want another window, I just drag this corner piece, right? So I can drag it right out. If I don't want it anymore, see the arrow, how the arrow shows up? Just click and drag, right? Gone. I can adjust them in size here. I can create another new window over there if I want. I can drag another window up from the bottom there if I want. So really versatile on like rearranging the whole space to whatever you want it to be, okay? The other thing is in user preferences. There are a ton of things that you can change. You can change the cursors to be large. You can there's even one which is, where is it? Selecting with left or right click. I think Zmod is left click, so doing that you know, you could change that. You can change you can change every single shortcut to everything in the whole. You know, if you use one specific shortcut all the time, you can just change it to like N or something, whatever you want. All right here. It's super, super user friendly. You can increase the text like this and so on. You know, so super easy to use. There's a ton of, well, not right there, but the themes you can change to themes here that you can install different ones if you want. There's all kinds of just, you know, just a lot of stuff. I really don't do any of it other than change the size of the text because my eyes are old and I need to see. So the first thing that I do when I'm kind of working with a truck is you want to get this set up right. So you want to get this how you want it. You're not really going to know until you do it for a little while where you want all the things that you're going to be doing to show up. But first you always want to have your Hemis available, not like in the Dodge Charger and stuff like that, but car jokes. So a Hemi is just a point of light essentially. So that's going to provide light to the scene. That's going to show you what the materials actually look like in game. So you can literally apply a paint job right in Blender and it will look exactly how it's going to look in the game with the correct shine level and the whole 9 yards. So you'll be able to see what it really looks like on your truck. And it's super nice. Like it would be so easy for skinners to use it, to be frankly honest. And I think that's what like ATS Studio was meant to be, but Blender is like way beyond, because you can see, you can make adjustments on the fly to your file and then just reload it in here and it'll show you what it looks like right, you know, live. You don't have to go in the game, enter the game, leave the game, enter the game, leave the game. So that's super nice too. So anyway, we want to create these Hemis, right? So these Hemis are over here. You just press this button, it makes a Hemi. It doesn't really, they don't matter where they are. I put them on either end and then I hide them because, you know, you don't need to see them, but they do need to be there. Very important to be able to see the materials. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to import a PIM for you so you can see kind of what it looks like. Let's see. So here's how to import the I'll do something quick just so we're not sitting here for a million years. So I got some chinos from Banshee. So you're going to open the chinos _exp. This is your base path here. Very important. Click this button right here. That's going to say everything in here is what I'm working with. I'm not working with anything else. There's no truck in here. There's no nothing. It is just the pipes. I'm going to import that. Of course, you have to pick the file first, by the way. All right. So let's try this again. So we've set our base path. Vehicle, truck, upgrade, exhaust, Kenworth, W900, chinos.pim. Now, why did it show up way over there, you're asking? Well, it's because of the cursor. And I made a video on this before, and I'll show you how to use this. I'm actually going to turn this on. We're going to turn that up and increase mouse size. Okay. So now I imported this way over here. It doesn't matter where you import it really, but obviously you kind of want it in the center so you can easily see what you're doing. Shift S. So cursor to center. Shift S, selection to cursor. So that puts it into the center. You can see what's going on with it. Alright, so these are the chinos. Alright, so they look pretty cool. Basically, these are the two models. So you get your mounts that mount to the cab, and then you have the actual pipes. Now, this button over here, it's going to show your materials. Alright, this is chrome. No question about that. And then you can edit your diffuse here, your specular, your shininess. And these are all things that you're gonna, there's a default value for everything. So you can, you know, play to your heart's content. So let's just show you, these are the straps here. Now I believe if I press tab, you'll see there's a grid that kind of shows up. This is the UV layer. Now I'm going to go to straps. Yeah, so I did bake the straps. So if you turn them off, you can see that they're different color than the actual pipes, and they're darker in some spots than others, because it's using the ambient light from the two Hemis and the AO bake that you've probably seen me do a video on. At any rate, that is that. So now we've looked at them, we've played around, we've showed you those things. So this is what we got to do, right? So we got to go here to the hookup portion. We got to make sure that we have, you'll see the Chinos EXP unit hookup up top. Yes, that's the one we want. There's no hookups on pipes, so it doesn't matter in this case. However, if you had pipes with smoke or something like that, they would have little nodes up here for those. Those would be considered a hookup, and those would need to be in that directory. So that is the only time you would really need that for exhaust pipes. However, here is your conversion tools path. Now, in my case, we've already seen it. It's right here because I put it under modding tools. If you look under D, you'll see SCS modding tools and then conversion tools. And this is the main folder. This is what you want. All it needs is this convert command. Except now it turns gray from red, so you're good. The other thing on this window is default export path. In this case, it's going to be vehicle, truck, upgrade, exhaust, Kenworth W900. That is where the Chinos live. That is where they're going to stay. You press select directory, and then you press export. And then it says up here, export successfully completed. So now all you've done is edit the PIT and the PIM. If you want to convert it, you need to go here. Clean conversion tools folder. Convert current SCS project. So if I press this button, it converts all my TOBJs to PMD PMG, which is important. That's what we're looking for. Then we go here. We find our modding tools folder. We go to conversion tools. We go to RSRC. We go to linked BT88, blah, blah, blah. It's a whole bunch of garbage. You can see that this is what you've created. Base is not what you want. You want this one. And then cache. This is going to be everything that you need to put into a directory structure to make a mod. So here is upgrade, exhaust, Kenworth W900. Here they are. Chinos, PMD, PMG, the DDS, the TOBJ, and the straps DDS and the straps TOBJ. I don't need any of this share stuff, so I can delete that. And then I just need the automat. So I would copy those two things. In this case, I've already done that because I've already made this mod. And then I go here, and you'll see my Chinos W900. Here is my automat folder with everything that I've created for materials. Here is my vehicle folder. And then my def that I wrote. For my Chinos. So that is how to make an accessory. So in this case, there's a little bit about that. How to import, how to export. Now, so we're done with this. Easiest way to get out of this is to, excuse me one second. Easiest way to remove what you're working on is right-click, delete hierarchy. So you still get your two Hemis in there. And you're good to go. Okay, so now we're going to import something directly from the base files. So we're going to click on ATS files 128. I also don't suggest doing this like I'm doing it. I would separate the vehicle that you want, make your own thing like I did with the Chinos, put all your pre-files in there, extract it, copy it, convert it, etc., like I've already talked about. I'm just doing this just to show how to move nodes and how to do things like that. That's what this part's going to be about, okay? So again, because I'm going to show you something else. Because there are no automats in pit pim. Everything is written in the TOBJ and the pit pim, okay? So that means there's no automats. So, which is great, because if I want to work on, say, the 579, right? I just copy this whole folder and put it in a new mod name, like Jeff's 579 or something. And boom, that's a pit pim. It's all ready to go. You just need your shared folders and your hookup values and your environmental TOBJs and DDSs, and you can edit to your heart's content. That's the best part. You don't have to worry about what any of the foolish mats are, or if they're in the right spot, or if you've copied them all, because you're going to create them with the PitPim. That is the major tool, because it's a middle format. It doesn't need to look at anything else but what's in this folder or the shared folder. So that is like primo, right? So vehicle, truck, whatever. We'll look at the 389. Okay. And we're going to open that truck. Hopefully. I love when it says not responding. In addition, Blendertools doesn't remove rivets and such. So, you know, all those mods that have no rivets on them anymore, well, that's because they've used Zmod, or they're using Blender to SCS, and it can't handle four UV layers, and Blendertools can. So that's another reason to switch. With the SCS tools, by the way, you will have a little on the side here. You're going to have this little tab here. What this is going to offer you is stuff like that. So the collisions are still there, and you can even turn off the wires. So now you can actually see the truck. So that's pretty cool. So right now, this silver or white ball, I guess it is in solid mode. All right. But we want to be in material mode, because we want to see what it's actually going to look like. And you can see right here, once I remove the shadows, that's truck paint. Hide that. Hide that. Hide that. All right, so let's pick a model. We're going to go to, this is selection object, which is the cube. I would like Alright, so we've got everything out of there. I would like chassis, I would like variant A. No, I don't want that either. I want B. Right, so I want the flat top. So I'm going to find the... That's not what I wanted. Hide. Hide. Alright. So, this is what the truck looks like in Blendertools. Alright, so now I want to see this thing with a paint job loaded. So I go down here to the paint job section, and I go to ATS files, vehicle, truck, upgrade, paint job $389. Now I don't know which ones go to what thing. I think B. Here we go. So paint job 9B. So that should be for B, which I am on now. Turn on the airbrush, and there you go. You're gonna see where that shows up. I don't even like that one. Hold on. Let me find something that's not foolish. Ugh, more foolish. There we go. So there's your kind of classic one, right? So there you go. You can see where the lines show up, how they come across the cab. You can really line it up by looking from the side view. So yeah, you can load your paint job for the truck you have and right in here and see how the lines match up. So pretty nice. Anyway, so there's that. So now we're going to go back to the truck section, and we're going to go to the object. Now I want to look at the chassis BC. Right, so this is what the chassis looks like with the truck on it. Looking good, right? So now, moving wheel nodes. Right, so you just select the node. You'll find it down here at the bottom. So this is the third iteration of wheels. This is just the standard a 6x4 chassis for BC. And yeah, so here you can change the location. So if I press up like that, it's going to move that up 2 clicks. So now your truck will be lower. Or I can put it back to stock height. And obviously you would do that on all of these in order to drop the truck a certain level or whatever. So that's how that works. Pretty straightforward. Just move those nodes up a couple clicks each or whatever it is, and then you can check it out in game. The one issue you're going to come across though when you do lower a truck is this here. This is the fake shadow. This is what gives you that kind of weird sparkly thing under your truck if it's too low and you don't lower this. So if you raise this, or excuse me, if you raise the wheel nodes, which drops the truck to the ground, it's going to screw up the shadow. So you either have to raise it or lower it. I forget what you have to do now because I haven't done it in a long time. But anyway, that's really what you got to do. The same works for forward and backward, you know. So if you move this, if you separate and move this axle forward and get rid of this box and do all kinds of whatever you're doing, you just move these nodes. Just pick them up and move them. If you move this thing, you know, 5 clicks forward, just move these wheel nodes 5 clicks forward. That's as easy as that is. No big deal. Yeah, so that's about that. The other thing is another portion I already went over not too long ago, actually, but that would be this. So this is the grill, right? So we're going to lock cursor to selected, right? So you saw with the chinos, when I had my cursor way out over here, that's where the chino showed up, right? So now we want to put the cursor right on the grill, and then we're going to import, right, the upgrade grill. Boom. So if you wanted to modify this, you can see it's right there. It's right on the front of the truck. There's no... It's exactly in the spot that it's supposed to be in. That's like one of the coolest parts about making accessories. You don't have to like go in the game and guess and where it is and so on. You can see it. It's all right here. You don't have to move it back and forth 18 times, and that's it. So if you wanted to change the headlights or do something or other, you just... There it is. It's all done. Right there. So that's the basics of it. You already know how to export. I'm not going to export this because it's going to ruin my base, so I don't want to do that. But yeah, that's the extent of that. It's a little bit daunting just because there's more to it. It's you know, you gotta convert it to this middle format thing, and then you gotta convert it back out. But the whole point of having the middle format is so that you can do all this stuff. You can import this grill right onto it here. You can move things around without having to worry about, you know, auto mats and all this other stuff. It's all right there. There's no second guessing where this grill is going to match up. It's just right there. So I hope that helps with a little bit of the learning curve. That's really my setup and how to go about getting everything working, and all the tools that you need. You know I went over a lot. Definitely want to go back through and watch it a bunch of times to get it down just right. But yeah, just make sure that, you know, whenever you're exporting, well, one more tidbit. So if I was exporting this grill, which is right here in the export path, well, we don't want to export it to the Kenworth 900, right? So that's no good. So I'm going to go vehicle, truck, upgrade, grill, 389, right? So that's the directory. But if you do that, it's going to export the entire screen. So you want to make sure that you have the selection. So then when I press enter, or excuse me, if I press export, it's going to show me, hey, this is what you're putting in. This is what you're putting in this file. Is that cool? If you press enter, it will go. If you're like, oh no, I didn't mean that, you press escape and then you're no problem. But the big part is the selection. The selection is just this. So you want to get the root node. If you want to export the truck, then you press selection, export, and then it's going to show you, hey, this is all the stuff in the truck. Is that cool? Is that what you want? Press enter or escape. Right. I don't want to do that. Escape. So those are some tools there. But you just want to make sure that you have the right export path here. And then you just hit your clean convert and convert current. And then that's going to put everything in that RSRC folder. And you can pick it up and add it to your mod. And you're off to the races. And then you're trying to figure out the log and what you screwed up. Haha. Anyway, to the old timers, thanks for all you've done. I really appreciate all the work that you put in for the 10, 12 years of hauling and PTTM and all that stuff, and, you know, allowing me to partake in getting those things into ATS. That has helped my learning immensely, and I hope that I can in turn teach you about Blendertools if you so desire to convert to the official tool. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time on Half-Assed Gaming.